Hi everybody, Linda Carroll here from Gather of Great Things Studio in Myrtle Beach, and thank you for all of your very kind comments on my journal flip through. I really appreciate it, and hope you enjoy my video today and videos in the future. I really enjoy doing collage work, although some of my other videos will have to do with bookmaking and making embellishments for the books that I make, and then eventually also painting. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, and I like to jump around from one thing to another, which may be why I don't finish a lot of things. But anyway, today I want to talk about my my new journal, my second art journal, collage art journal. And I actually found that I had finished doing the collage work in 2 pages. This one was from last year. My word of the year was whimsy. And I've always been intrigued with magical realism, novels, artwork, and how magical things show up in my life. As a child, I was kind of prone to create my own little magical world, and things haven't changed too much, as you can see from my artwork. My favorite author in that particular genre is Alice Hoffman, and she's I've read most of her books, I'm sure, and I started doing some research on other authors, and I came up with 100 books that I would really like to read. That's quite a chore for me nowadays, but anyway, I started thinking about how magical realism applies to my collage work, and I do create my own little world on each page. So this was page 1. I still have to go back in and do the line work and embellishments, and I'll probably write a quote between these lines down here. But I don't know about you, I've never petted a squirrel, which would be kind of fun. They run around my yard all the time. But so I have 2 pages that I'm in the process of working on. And the second page, for some reason, I filled up the entire background with magazine clips pages. So that was something different for me to do. I usually leave some of the paper that I'm working on plain, and then go back in with pan pastels and color pencils and finish those up. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out, but anyway, I'll be going back in and I started doing some line work here around her eyes. I usually, as I said before, start with the face first, and eventually find eyes that work, different eyes from the face that I start with, usually larger than the face, and then the piece grows from there. I look for images that run in certain color families that I'm working with on the page. I look for images that seem to call to one another and call to me as well. So today I thought I'd go through a magazine and tear out some images that I think will work in my future collages, and then we'll go from there. I just came back from a cruise about 2 weeks ago, and this was one of the magazines they had on board, which ended up in my suitcase. And I like the book because the pages are matte. They're not glossy. And which is there's just a little bit of a shine to them. But basically, they are matte pages. So let's go through here. I usually go through magazine fairly quickly. Looking for things that I might like to include in pages. I like natural backgrounds, and these two also kind of look like mermaid tails to me. So that's something that might work. It's a Royal Caribbean cruise, so you'll see a lot of their logos throughout here. I like this jewel. That could end up as a headpiece, or it could end up as part of a dress or mermaid. I seem to tear out hair just for the texture, and then I'll go over top of the hair with pins, and it won't look like that when I'm finished, but it's really pretty. But I don't think it'll end up in my book. Here are some great eyes. It's nice to see a photograph with a woman with some smile lines around her eyes. So that will be a nice addition to my work. Most of these faces are too large. This is really nice texture though. I love the colors. Most of these faces are really too large for my collages. It's a nice form. Who knows what that will end up being. I don't spend too much time looking at the pages, and I don't think this will be the last time I go through this magazine. There's just so much. I usually keep magazines around for a while before I'm actually finished looking through them. Wow, these are cute. For my collages by the sea. And let's see. I'm not seeing any faces really that will work. I also look for words that I can use in the journals. Now this dress form right here would make a great mermaid body. It won't look like that when I finish with it, but it has some great forms to it that I can add to. It's a great cruise that we went on to the Western Caribbean. I just wanted to spend some time with my husband and relax and not have to be on a schedule or have to be anywhere at any particular time. And it was the perfect cruise. And these would make some, maybe make some great fish. We went to Cozumel and Belize, and we went to Rortan, Honduras, and it was a lot of fun. The water is just unbelievably gorgeous. This is kind of the area that we were in right here. Our last stop was Costa Maya, and between Rortan and Belize, I think probably right in here somewhere. But I'm going to tear this out. I started a travel journal while I was down there, so that'll definitely be part of it. And in November, I'm going to do a cruise to the Western Caribbean. So I know we're going to St. Kitts. So I'll save that for later in the year. Something like this is great to use in a border or as part of the background, just to give it some more texture. Colors in this are absolutely gorgeous. This jewel will probably turn into something great. Not seeing. Oh, I love that eye. We were gone for 7 days on the cruise. The only problem I had was our last stop in Costa Maya. We were sitting in a tequila bar purely for medicinal purposes, and something started biting my ankles, and I looked down and couldn't see anything, so they were obviously no SAMs. And it was probably about 4 hours later, I looked down and had welts around my ankles, and that night they turned into blisters. And oh, look at that. That'll be beautiful in a collage. Look at those colors. That's beautiful. And really started to itch, and I thought, I'm in big trouble here. Luckily, we usually carry with us some anti-itch spray and antiseptic cream. We take our little first aid kit with us, so it wasn't too terrible, but I still have the bites, the scars from the bites. So hopefully, I looked up on the internet and they said, well, within 5 weeks you should be fine. So they still itch a little bit sometimes at night. Next time I know better, and we'll definitely take bug spray when I'm in that part of the world. I won't go out without it. And oh, these are great. What good inspiration for some designs, background designs. If you hear bumping and grinding out there, that's my husband bringing the trash cans around, walking past my studio. Well, I think that's about it for this magazine. I'm surprised. I thought I would find a lot more. So I also have a box that I keep scraps that I've cut out before, and I just go through and see what calls to me. I know a lot of people have all of their different scraps divided up into body parts and seashore and so on and so forth, but I seem to get a lot of inspiration just going through my, and this isn't the only box I have by any means, going through and see what calls to me. I think I'm probably, I haven't worked with a mermaid in a while, so I have a feeling my mermaids are going to be swimming around here today. And so looking for images. This is one of Tisha's collage sheets that she sold on her website. I'm looking for arms and face and background images and things to use in border designs. And I usually go through pretty quickly. Little bits of Tisha's collage sheets. This is from an old magazine, and beautiful, beautiful artwork. Something like this could be used, you know, as a mermaid tail. So I'm going to pull that one. May not use it, but you never know. Being a graphic designer, these old ads I just love. Oh, this is a great texture. I've used this in my mermaid collages before. Great textures there as well. I would be embarrassed if you saw my garage, because I have stacks of magazines and old theater programs and books and things that I have yet to go through and pull images from. But I've pulled a lot of faces that I think will work. My husband's crossword puzzle sheets. This is some of Tisha's pages. This looks like a page out of a Stampington magazine. That as well. A lot of colors in that. Some scrapbook paper. Some of Tisha's great faces. She did. I think I need some music. I can tell that's an old magazine ad. Look at that. Oh, sweet. Oh my, let's see. Hawaii. I hope this isn't too boring. Here's some of Keisha's collage sheets. Very much cut into and torn up. I think this is not very interesting for you guys. So what I think I'm going to do is, you kind of see how I go through things. What I think I'm going to do is go through and pull out some more pieces, and then I'll actually start working on a collage, and I'll be right back. Hi there, I'm back, and I've cut out some of the shapes that I found in that magazine that we looked through. I did find a face and eyes that will work on my mermaid. I guess because we were talking about my cruise that I came back from about 2 weeks ago, Mermaid decided to appear today. And you can see the hair that I cut out of the magazine is actually going to be the basis for her flowing hair in the water. That dress that the woman in the photo was throwing up into the air is going to be her body form. And I found these feathers, which was a headdress or part of a headdress, and I think that's going to be the mermaid tail. I did find this, but I didn't like it after I put it on there, after I saw this piece. So that's going to become her tail. And these water bubbles that we found in the magazine, or the trail that she's leaving behind her as she goes through the water. I decided not to save the map. All the places that we went to are actually on the map, except for Costa Maya. I can easily add that. So I think this will make a nice nice background, kind of a dreamy kind of a background. So let me spend a little bit more time looking for arms that will work for her, and maybe some more pieces to use in the background and on the border. And I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back. I've found a few more things that I think will work in this collage, and I'm really happy with the way it's starting to come together. But I'm getting a lot of paper on a page, so I think it's time to start pasting things down. I did add another piece for her hair with some mermaid curls in there, and found something to use as a base for her headdress, which I think is going to be a crown made of seashells. And I found some arms that will work. One thing nice about doing this style of collage is that the perspective and dimensions and sizes don't have to be realistic, which I really like. That's kind of a magical, whimsical quality to the work. I found this border of jewels, which I think I can transform into a really neat sea bottom, and a fish that I will make look my own. I use quite a number of different pieces of papers that I have collected through the years. One of my favorite things to use is old ledger books. I love the old handwriting, and so I use those. I also collect children's books, and this one was a real find for me because there's a lot of illustrations from the sea in this particular book, and I've used it quite a bit in my other collages. So children's books are something I'm always looking for, and old stamps. I have boxes of old stamps that I've collected through the years. I actually called them not too long ago and got rid of a lot of duplicates. So I think I'm ready to start pasting. I look at my collage and see exactly what would be the farthest piece in the background. And it looks like this piece of border up here. I use strips of paper for the borders, and then I'll build on top of those. So although this may appear to be what it's going to look like at the beginning, it probably won't all appear in the final piece. So let me find my glue book, and we can start gluing, which I don't see right now, so I'll probably just use a piece of paper since I'm not as prepared as I should be. So I'm going to start with this piece right here. Hopefully I'm in the camera, and I'm going to cut off this edge. I like to round the edges because this is an art journal from Delusions. I like it because of the paper. It's a really high quality, smooth paper, and I like the way that it takes markers and pens and the pan pastels. It's does not work really well with Copic markers. Copic markers bleed through, and so that's pretty much the only thing that I can't use on this particular book. But since I'm trying this time to only work on one page, maybe that won't be a problem this time. I try to leave a little bit of a border around the page, just so when I'm turning the pages, the artwork doesn't lift. And most of the time I just use a glue stick. Sometimes I use Yes Paste, especially if I'm doing a piece that I consider fine art collage. I'll use a Yes glue stick, and Yes Paste. It's a paste that's used in bookbinding, and I also use it in my bookbinding, and it's water soluble, so if I have some that's showing, I can clean it up later with just water, so that works really well. I've never tried to talk and do a collage before. My collage work is very meditative. It's a very meditative practice, and so I'm not really used to talking. I generally don't even listen to music. So I might go really silent every now and then when I get into my Zen place, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I think down here in this corner, I think my fish is the farthest in the background. So put some glue stick on the back of him and tuck him down here in the corner. I lay out all of my basic background and basic foreground pieces first and go in and do the paste down, and then I'll go back in and start adding layers on top of that, and then finally I'll do whatever background areas need to be done, and then I'll go in and do my pen and ink embellishments. So this little piece needs to tuck down in there first. So also, I'm trying not to lean over as I work, which may not be the best thing for me, is for you. Oops. I think I need to get some new glue sticks. Not real pleased with these. They're fine on paper that is really absorbent, but on magazine pages where the paper's kind of slick, it doesn't want to stick really well. That's one of the great things about the Yes glue. It will glue just about anything. I saw this piece and went, oh, jewels at the bottom of the sea. I love that idea. Now, sometimes when I have a piece that goes across the center of the page, I will cut it, and so that I don't have to worry about it coming up. This one I'm just going to try and crease it really well since it's in the beginning of the book. And hopefully that'll work. I guess from my old days doing paste up at the newspaper back in the, oh my gosh, back in the late 70s, early 80s. Burnishing everything down was an important thing. We used wax back then to adhere the papers together. I haven't thought about that in a while, but worked really well. Okay, I think we're ready to work on the mermaid herself. Found this little tiny arm. Thought it would look like she's swimming, and in the distance we can still see her arm, but it is farther away. And one of the important things to remember when you're doing any kind of collage is overlapping elements. It gives depth to your work, and a cohesiveness to your pieces. So whether you're doing something as simple as tags, or working in junk journals, or doing collage work, I think overlapping is a really important element to remember when you're gluing your pieces down. You can see I'll have her eye overlapping the face, which overlaps the arm, and then the headdress will overlap the arm just a little bit. And you have a feeling of perspective and depth there already, even before I start doing any kind of further embellishment or anything. Okay, I think the next piece that has to go down is this arm. And I'm not real pleased with my cutting around here, so I'm going to go in and trim it just a little bit. And I love to fussy cut, and I like to provide as many details as possible in my work. Okay. All right. Not very many of my divas have a neck, which is kind of funny, but their heads just seem to pop right off their bodies, which is kind of fun. I really don't like this glue stick. It's really upsetting me. Okay, I'm going to overlap some things. So I think I'm going to glue her body down. And while I can still work with it, I'll be doing some overlapping. And let's see, I want her arm to be there, and I want to overlap just a little bit here. Okay, good. And then her fingers overlap her body. I may have to go in and cut that since it's not being a little bit cantankerous and not gluing down really well. And then I'll do some work with pen or paint, and it'll be you won't really be able to see the cut. Okay. All right. And now I think ready to do her pretty face. I like the way it's going to look like she's looking out at me when I'm, okay. hair. Let's see. This all fits together here. Okay, this piece. Now, when I'm doing this kind of work, if I need to put down some little pencil marks to hold my place, I just do that so I have a suggestion of where the piece needs to go. Each one of these collages probably takes me 2 or 3 days to finish. It depends on how elaborate I get with the embellishments. Sometimes longer. Now that for sure I'm going to cut, because I'll be drawing over top of this hair. So it's not important that it goes over that crease. And I found this second piece, which I think is really pretty, a kind of mermaid. Now, one thing I do is, if you see here where I have these straight lines and there's where the arm joins the body, I try to cover all that up, kind of camouflage it, cover it up, and I like that. And then the eyes will cover up everything. Like that. Oh, I think I like the way that looks. I'll just make a few little marks. So I know where these, exactly where these pieces go. Oops. Okay, and now her eyes, how they need to be. I usually try to line up the nose line when I'm putting on the second set of eyes. It just makes it look a little bit more, I don't want to say realistic because it definitely isn't realistic, but more in proportion, maybe. That's the word I want. I'm kind of fumbly today. I don't know why. Okay, so I have this joint here where the arm goes behind the head is covered by the eyes and looks pretty good. And now I need my headdress. I have these little clips, little sayings all over my desk that I use in my crafting world usually, but sometimes they end up in my journals. It depends. I do have stations set up in my studio where I paint and where I do my illustration work and where I do my bookmaking and where I do my video editing and where I do my journaling, but this main table kind of has an overlapping use. I do a lot of my crafting here as well as my art journaling. So remember, you want to have that little bit of overlap so that headdress will overlap her arm just a little bit, and it puts that arm and hand farther in the background. So I like that. Okay, I hope I'm in camera. I think I am. Yeah, you can kind of see all my mess on my table. You move up here, scoot up here a little bit, and next I'm going to work on the tail and the bubble stream coming out of the back. Let's see exactly where I want this to go. This up here at the top is overlapped from my the previous page, so I'm gonna let that curve up a little bit more. Kind of shows movement, that she's come down, maybe jumped into the water and come down this direction, so I think I like that. So it's not all intuitive. I didn't really know exactly what I was going to be doing today or exactly how it was going to turn out, but you know, there is a thought process here that happens, decisions that need to be made, and as I'm working, I think a lot of the intuitive part of it is when I'm gathering pieces together to make the collage. And like I said, it's kind of like pieces call to one another, and you know, it's like pick me, and okay, I must have some paper around here to collage on. One of my husband's crossword puzzle books, that's what I usually use. He loves crossword puzzles. His head is filled with little bits and tidbits of this and that and something else. It's amazing to me. The things that he knows and can answer even the most abstract hints or questions in a crossword. Okay. Right. And so we have her tail to paste down. I like to, I think it's Jane who used the word audition. And, you know, you need to audition your pieces to see if that's exactly where you want pieces to be and what you want things to look like. And so I think I like that right there. And it may be when I do the embellishment on her hair, pieces will actually come down and overlap her tail a bit, since it's so close. Okay, so we have our, I think, the basis for the collage starting to come together. I think I'm going to have to cut this. I don't like the way it's not pasting down there in that corner. There we go. So I think I'm going to look for some more pieces to use in the border. I did find some stamps that I want to use. This one has fish. It's a postcard stamp. I'm not sure what year it is. And this year, or last year, I can't remember, was the 50th anniversary of Royal Caribbean, which is the cruise line that we took. So I thought these stamps would work really well to kind of commemorate that. I love this paper too. How great is that? I won't throw it away. I'll keep it. I keep all little tiny scraps. And here's another one. So anyway, they'll go in there. And also some ledger paper, I think, will end up in the border. So I think over here, I like this. Let's cut some of this and put some this beautiful. It's from 1936. Beautiful lettering in here. Now, sometimes I do tear things that are going to be on the border. Take a look at that. I don't really want to cover up those bubbles. Fight those bubbles. A little bit more. Okay, I like having that. I like that date. I think that might end up here in the corner. Again, even though I'm, you know, using this great big piece here, I'll probably break it up with some washi tape or a stamp or something. Kind of like that right there. Now this is on a postcard, which makes sense since it's a postcard stamp. And I usually don't like to, I tore it. Let's see if I can salvage it. Usually don't like to use the backgrounds. I can't believe I did that. Oh. Let's see what we can do. It may have to be a little bit, no. Try my luck at tearing it anymore. Oops. Throwing things around. Okay. Kind of like that. I'm really not liking this glue stick today. It's really not cooperating with me at all. Okay. All right, and I have these strips of seashells that I cut out of the children's book, and I thought I would use them to make a crown for my mermaid. So I won't take the time on camera to cut them out, but I think it'll be really pretty to make a crown. And I found this piece in another magazine. It's called Millennia, and I really don't remember where I got the magazine, but I love the graphics on here, and I'm not sure I'm going to use any of them in this piece, but I thought it was a good inspiration piece for some textures in the background or on other pieces that I'm going to add to the collage. So I think that's about all I'm going to do for today. And I'll spend some time before I start filming again, gathering pieces for the border and to finish up some of the sea floor, and we'll go from there. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope to be doing many more in process videos for you to enjoy. Hope you have a wonderful day. Many blessings to you and yours. And I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.